Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Shri Nityananda Chandram Patita Sharanadam Gauradam Tam Bhajeham Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shirvasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवी सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये मस्तप्रैस्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भगवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 3, Talks between Lord Shiva and Sati. Maitreya uvacha sada vidvisatorevam Kalo Vaidreyamanayo Jamatuh Swasurasyapi Sumahan Ati Chakrame.
Oh, Lina, would you like to read the translation?
Oh, yes, please, Prabhuji.
Right.
Maitreya continued. In this manner, the tension between the father-in-law and son-in-law, Daksha, and Lord Shiva continued for a considerably long period of time.
Yadabhishekto dakshastu brahmana parameshthina prajapatinam sarvesham adhipatye smayo bhavat.
When Lord Brahma appointed Daksha, the chief of all the Prajapatis, the progenitors of population, Daksha became very much puffed up.
Istva savajapeyena brahmisthana vibhuya cha brihaspati savam nama samarebhe kratutamam.
Daksha began a sacrifice named Vajapaya, and he became excessively confident of his support by Lord Brahma. He then performed another great sacrifice named Brihaspati Sava.
Tasmin brahmarsayah sarve devarshi pitra devataha asan kritta swastya yanas tatpatnyascha sabhakrikaha.
While the sacrifice was being performed, many Brahma
Oh, we've lost you, Lina. Oh, can anybody else hear Lina?
No, we can't hear.
Oh,
No.
okay. Kaushalya Maji, would you like to read while we're waiting? Or Shyamalini, would you like to read?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, great.
While the sacrifice was being performed, many Brahmarishis, great sages, ancestral demigods, and other demigods, their wives, all very nicely decorated with ornaments, attended from different parts of the universe.
Tad upasrutya nabhasi kechadānaṁ prajalpatāṁ सती दाक्षायणी देवी विप्रयज्ञमहोत्सवम् व्रजन्ति हि सर्वतो दिव्य उपदेवा वरस्यः विमानयानः सप्रेष्ठा निष्कण्ठी सुवासशः दृष्ट्वा स्वनिलयाभ्यासे लोलाक्षीर्मृष्टकुण्डलः पतिं भूतपतिं देवम् औत्सुक्यादभ्यभाषत.
The chaste lady Sati, the daughter of Daksha, heard the heavenly denizens flying in the sky, conversing about the great sacrifice being performed by her father. When she saw that from all directions the beautiful wives of heavenly denizens, their eyes very beautifully glittering, were near her residence and were going to the sacrifice, dressed in fine clothing and ornamented with earrings and necklaces with lockets, she approached her husband, the master of the Bhutas, in great anxiety and spoke as follows.
Very good. So let's stop there for a second, and Surinder, over to you.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat to all the Vaishnavas, Nitai Gaur, Haribol.
Hare Krishna.
So,
Hang on, is this the right one? No.
uh,
Sorry, let me just go a bit further down. Yes, this is the one. Okay.
so we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto and chapter 3, talks between Lord Shiva and Sati.
Mm.
Daksha's sacrifice, verses 1 to 7. Tensions continued between Shiva and Daksha. Being appointed one of the chief Prajapatis, Daksha became very proud. With Brahma's support, he began performing sacrifices and invited all the sages and demigods. The demigods' wives came to the sacrifices very nicely decorated in fine clothing and costly ornaments. Yes, so it is said that pride precedes a fall down.
Mm.
So in this way, because Daksha being the chief Prajapati, and he became very proud,
Mm.
and we should avoid pride as per the instructions of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadina kirtaniya sadahari. We should be very humble instead of proud. We should be humble, and we should be tolerant and respectful, and we should not expect honor in return, like that. So in this way, by following the instructions of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, we will be able to be free from such pride and the consequent problems which this quality of pride leads to. Hare Krishna, Nitai Gaur. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sati uvacha प्रजापतेस्ते स्वसुरस्य साम्प्रतं निर्यापितो यज्ञमहोत्सवः किल वयं च तत्राभिशराम वामते यद्यर्थितानि विबुधा व्रजन्तिः.
Sati said, "Oh, my dear Lord Shiva, your father-in-law is now executing great sacrifices, and all the demigods, having been invited by him, are going there. If you desire, we may also go."
Mm.
तस्मिन् भगिन्यो मम भर्तृभिः स्वाके ध्रुवं गमिष्यन्ति सुहृद्दृक्षवः अहं च तस्मिन् भवताभिकामये सहोपनीतं परिबर्हमर्हितुम्.
I think that all my sisters must have gone to this great sacrificial ceremony with their husbands just to see their relatives. I also desire to decorate myself with the ornaments given to me by my father and go there with you to participate in that assembly.
तत्र स्वरिर्मे ननु भर्तृसंहिता मात्र स्वसृसृक्लीनधियं च मातरम् द्रक्ष्ये चिरोत्कण्ठमना महर्षिभिः उन्नीयमानं च मृदाध्वरः ध्वजम्.
My sisters, my mother's sisters, and their husbands, and other affectionate relatives must be assembled there. So if I go, I shall be able to see them, and I shall be able to see the flapping flags and the performance of the sacrifice by the great sages. For these reasons, my dear husband, I am very much anxious to go.
त्वयैतद् आश्चर्यम् अजात्ममायया विनिर्मितं भाति गुणत्रयात्मकम् तथाप्यहं योषित तत्त्वविच्यते दीनादिदृक्षे भव मे भव क्षितिम्.
This manifested cosmos is a wonderful creation of the interaction of the free material modes, or the external energy of the Supreme Lord. This truth is fully known to you, yet I am but a poor woman, and as you know, I am not conversant with the truth. Therefore, I wish to see my birthplace once more.
पश्या प्रयान्तिरभवान्ययोषितो व्यलङ्कृतः कान्तसखावरुद्धसः यासां व्रजद्भिः सितिकण्ठमण्डितं नभो विमानैः कलहं स पाण्डुभिः.
O never born, O blue-throated one, not only my relatives but also other women dressed in nice clothes and decorated with ornaments are going there with their husbands and friends. Just see how their flocks of white airplanes have made the entire sky very beautiful.
कथं सुतायाः पितृगेह कौतुकं निशम्य देहाः सुरवर्यनिङ्गते अनाहुतायपि अभियन्ति सुहृदं भर्तुर्गुरोर्देह कृतश्च केतनम्.
O best of the demigods, how can the body of a daughter remain undisturbed when she hears that some festive event is taking place in her father's house, even though you may be considering that I have not been invited? There is no harm if one goes to the house of one's friend, husband, spiritual master, or father without invitation.
तन्मे प्रसीदेदम् अमर्त्यवाञ्छितम् कर्तुं भवान् कारुणिको भतार्हति त्वयात्मनोर्ध्येऽहमदभ्रचक्षुषा निरूपितामानुगृहाण याचितः.
O immortal Shiva, please be kind towards me and fulfill my desire. You have accepted me as half of your body, Therefore, please show kindness towards me and accept my request.
Hare Krishna, Nitai Gaur Haribol. So, Sati's desire, verses 8 to 14. Seeing that her father was holding a great sacrifice, Sati was anxious to decorate herself and go to the sacrifice with her husband, Lord Shiva. By attending the sacrifice, she would be able to see her mother, sisters, and other relatives. There is no harm going uninvited. She begged her husband to kindly let her go to the festivities. Now, Daksha was a chief Prajapati, and also he was holding great sacrifices in terms of, he was a devotee, but in his mode of worship was rather a materialistic devotee. He was engaged in karmakand, sacrifices, and compared to him, Lord Shiva, he is a Vaishnavanam Yathasambhu, great Vaishnava, pure Vaishnava. And therefore, in this way, he is on a higher position. The Vaishnava is always superior to those engaged in karmakand. And this is one point. Another point is that Sati was anxious to decorate herself and to go to the sacrifice with her husband. This is a natural tendency of the ladies, and therefore the husband and wife, they're known as like the wife is known as Ardhangani, means half, the better half, as it is said in English language, my other better half, yes?
Yeah.
In this way, yes, so in any such functions, so husband and wife, they go together and attend functions. So that's part of our social life, socializing, meeting friends and families, like that. There is no harm in it. And but according to time, place, and circumstance, in the time of Sati, there was no such consideration of that. Without invitation, one may visit one's relatives to the guru's place and like that. But to be honest, as per the current time and place and circumstances, it's better to have a proper invitation, and also we ring the person whom we are visiting to inform them that we are going there, in case they are going out. Hare Krishna, Nitai Gaur Hari. Thank you.
Thank you.
ऋषिरुवाच एवं गिरित्राः प्रिययाभिभाषितः प्रत्यभ्यधत्त प्रहसन् सुहृत्प्रियः संस्मारितो मर्मभिदः कुवागिषुन् यानाः को विश्वसृजां समक्षतः.
The great sage Maitreya said, O Lord Shiva, the deliverer of the hill Kailash, having thus been addressed by his dear wife, replied smilingly, although at the same time he remembered the malicious, heart-piercing speeches delivered by Daksha before the guardians of the universal affairs.
श्रीभगवानुवाच त्वयोदितं शोभनमेव शोभने अनाहुता अपि अभियन्ति बन्धुषु ते यदीयनुत्पादितदोषदृष्टयो बलीयसानात्म्यमदिना मन्युना.
The great Lord replied, My dear beautiful wife, you have said that one may go to a friend's house without being invited. And this is true, provided such a friend does not find fault with the guest because of bodily identification and thereby become angry towards him.
विद्यातपो वित्तवपूर्वयः कुलैः सतां गुणैः सद्भिरसत्तमेतरैः स्मृतो हतायां हृतमानदुदृशः स्तब्धा न पश्यन्ति हि धाम भूयसाम्.
Although the 6 qualities, education, austerity, wealth, beauty, youth, and heritage, are for the highly elevated one who is proud of possessing them, becomes blind, and thus he loses his good sense and cannot appreciate the glories of great personalities.
नैतादृशानां स्वजनाव्यपेक्षया गृहान् प्रतीयादनवस्थितात्मनां येभ्यागतान् वक्रधियाभिचक्षते आरोपितभ्रूभिरमर्सनाक्षिभिः.
One should not go to anyone's house, even on the consideration of his being a relative or a friend, when the man is disturbed in his mind and looks upon the guest with raised eyebrows and angry eyes.
तथारिभिर्न व्यथते सिलिमुखे सेतेर्तिताङ्गो हृदयेन दूयता स्वानां यथा वक्रधियान् दुरुक्तिभिः दिवानिशं तप्यतिमर्मतादितः.
Lord Shiva continued, if one is hurt by the arrows of an enemy, one is not as aggrieved as when cut by the unkind words of a relative, for such grief continues to read one's heart day and night.
व्यक्तं त्वम् उत्कृष्टगतिः प्रजापतेः प्रियात्मजानामसि सुभ्रुमे मता तथापि मानं न पितुः प्रपत्स्यसे मदाश्रयात् कः परितप्यते यतः.
My dear white-complexioned wife, it is clear that of the many daughters of Daksha, you are the pet, yet you will not be honored at his house because of your being my wife. Rather, you will be sorry that you are connected with me.
पापचमानेन हृतातुरिन्द्रियः समृद्धिभिः पुरुषबुद्धिसाक्षिणाम् अकल्पैषामधिरोधुमञ्जसा परं पदं द्वेष्टि यथा सुराहरिम्.
One who is conducted by false ego and thus always distressed, both mentally and sensually, cannot tolerate the opulence of self-realized persons. Being unable to rise to the standard of self-realization, he envies such persons as much as demons envy the supreme personality of Godhead.
प्रत्युद्गमः प्राश्रयणाभिवादनम् विधीयते साधुमिठ सुमध्यमे प्राज्ञे परस्मै पुरुषाय चेतसा गुहाशयाय वनदेहमानिने.
My dear young wife, certainly friends and relatives offer mutual greetings by standing up, welcoming one another and offering obeisances. But those who are elevated to the transcendental platform, being intelligent, offer such respects to the super soul who is sitting within the body, not to the person who identifies with the body.
सतद्वं विशुद्धं वसुदेव शब्दितं यद्दीयते तत्र पुमान् अपावृतः स तद्विचातस्मिन् भगवान् वसुदेवो ह्यधोक्षजो मे नमसा विधीयते.
I am always engaged in offering obeisances to Lord Vasudeva in pure Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is always pure consciousness, in which the Supreme Personality of Godhead, known as Vasudeva, is revealed without any covering.
तत्ते निरीक्षो न पितापि देहकृत् दक्षो मम द्वेतदनुव्रताश्च ये यो विस्प्रसिद्ध्यगतं वरोरुमाम् अनागसं दुर्वचसा करोतिरः.
Therefore, you should not see your father, although he is the giver of your body, because he and his followers are envious of me. Because of his envy, O most worshipful one, he has insulted me with cruel words, although I am innocent.
यदि व्रजिष्यसि यतिहाय मद्वचो भद्रं भवत्या न ततो भविष्यति सम्भावितस्य स्वजनात् पराभवो यदा स सद्यो मरणाय कल्पते. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna.
If in spite of this instruction you decide to go, neglecting my words, the future will not be good for you. You are most respectable, and when you are insulted by your relative, this insult will immediately be equal to death.
Mm.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Nitai Gaura Haribo. So Lord Shiva's advice, verses 15 to 25. Shiva tried to persuade his wife not to go to the sacrifice because he could foresee that she would be insulted by her proud father. Harsh words from relatives are worse than sharp arrows of enemies, as such grief affects the heart day and night. She may be the favorite of her father, but the connection with him means he will dishonor her. Rather, he advised her to remain at home. He explained that he was always in trance meditating on the Supreme Lord Vasudeva in full Krishna consciousness. If we move it upward a little bit, Prabhu. Yeah, a little bit upward, is it?
Sorry, I can't shift it. So the last bit is he explained that he was always in trance meditating on the Supreme Lord Vasudeva in full Krishna consciousness. He was always respectful to the super soul within.
Yes, that's Very good example set by Lord Shiva.
Mm.
Now, a few lessons to be learned, of course, and here Mother Sati expressed her wish to go to attend the sacrifice organized by Lord Daksha, her father, and whereby she would get the opportunity to meet the relatives, mothers and sisters, like that, and friends. But however, Lord Shiva advised her not to go, and he put forward certain very interesting points, very important points to consider. And we shall see that, however, and Mother Sati disobeys the good advice and instructions of Lord Shiva, and she will later on go to attend the sacrifice organized by Daksha. And then there is this offenses made by Daksha, and then Sati, she burns her body with mystic yogic fire. However, now it is a few things we can learn is that some advice given by Rupa Goswami Maharaj in Upadesh Amritam, Nectar of Instruction, as follows. Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam jiva vegam udaro pasta vegam etan veganyo visaheta dhira sarvam apimam prithivim sasisyat. A sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals is qualified to make disciples all over the world. So such qualities we need to try to adopt and practice. So because Daksha, he showed envy and he was angry towards Lord Shiva, and it mentions certain symptoms of anger. He would raise eyebrows and like red eyes. That it reflects anger of the person. So Lord Shiva knew that Daksha was envious of him, and he could foresee the calamities which would henceforth happen, and thus he decided to dissuade Sati to attend this sacrifice ceremony organized by Daksha. And now, a few things we need to learn. If we are son-in-law, we should always be respectful to our father-in-law. And even if we are absorbed in practicing our Krishna consciousness, for example, chanting our japa, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we can still continue chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra and stand up to welcome and greet father-in-law, no problem. And also, if we are father-in-law, we should make sure that we should not disrespect our son-in-law. So there is mutually we should be respectful, like father-in-law should be respectful towards son-in-law, and son-in-law should be respectful towards father-in-law in the Krishna conscious mood, in the practice like to render service and to not to commit offense. And it is said that in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna, he is very dear to those devotees who do not disturb others, and they are not disturbed by others. In chapter 12 Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna mentions that. So we should try not to disturb others and also not to be disturbed by others. These are very important points to note. And as Rupa Goswami has clarified, that we should not be neglectful in our responsibility and in our duty in terms of our social duty and social responsibility. In our ordinary day-to-day life, we should not become neglectful about our social duties and responsibilities. And side by side, we should practice our Krishna consciousness very nicely, very enthusiastically, to serve Hari, Guru and Vaishnava, to please Hari, Guru, Vaishnava. And that is the main purpose. Hare Krishna Prabhu Nitai Gaur Hari Bol.
Thank you so much. Thank you for taking us through this. Our Guru Maharaj always used to say, Matri Deva Bhava, Pitri Deva Bhava, Acharya Deva Bhava, and Atithi Deva Bhava. This is, of course, from the Vedic scriptures. And it's very important to give the youngsters to understand, to give respect to the parents, to the teachers, to the guests. And he was very strong on those. It was one of his first sort of preaching guides, instructions. And, you know, it's very good if devotees are able to put that into practice. Because the blessings come from the elders. It's not the other way around. So the blessings come from the parents. The blessings come from the guru. The blessings come from guests who are not invited. And they're treated like demigods. But if one does not understand or does not put into practice these simple, very, very, very simple instructions, then who is the loser? It's not the one who's being disrespected. It's the ones who are being disrespectful is the loser. So the onus is always on the youngsters to, and of course the training has to be there from the elders. Our Guru Maharaj was very clear. He would speak on this in many, many, many lectures. And if you were a disciple of Guru Maharaj, then this is one instruction that would definitely have been put to you. And if not, one is not putting that into practice, then who is the loser? Who is lost? Not obeying the instruction of the Guru, not getting the blessings of the elders. What a shame, what a pity, what a loss. What to do? Simple things are, get so much benefit, but if one can't even observe the simple things, then what's going to happen when the challenging things come our way? Anyway, just wanted to add that. So, any questions, any comments?
Yeah, Prabhu, one thing, we say that in the summary, we shouldn't be disturbed by others and we shouldn't disturb others. Does that mean being what we say? Yeah, is that in relation to what we say to others? Is it what we shouldn't disturb others?
Yes, saying also
our words.
Words, but thoughts, our own thoughts, because somebody may insult us. I mean, luckily we went through this afternoon, actually, when we were looking at the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Because one of the lessons was forgive and be forgiven. So the thing is, if somebody, say, insults us, and we hold that in our mind, that this person has done this to us, and I will get my own back, we're actually creating a disturbance for ourselves within the mind. And that's really painful. That can be very harmful to us in our spiritual development. So our thoughts, our actions, and our words, we should try to not harm anybody with those three thoughts. If we think of somebody badly, we're not actually harming them, we're harming ourselves. And if somebody does insult us, we can try to understand why. We can try to perhaps talk with that person and understand why. But if ultimately nothing succeeds, we need to understand that this is perhaps due to our own karma, and we will not retaliate. We will accept it. We will take responsibility for it. And we will not have a negative thought process towards this. We will take it positively. My dear Lord, thank you. Thank you for this situation, because I know I'm responsible for it, but you have reduced the karmic reaction. And also you have made me a little bit more, detached from this person or this situation or this world. So we should always be thankful to the Lord, even in the most terrible situations. They may be terrible to us, but the Lord knows best. He won't do anything to us which is not good for us. So we take it in a positive way, even the negative things in our life. And we thank God. Thank you. And as soon as you thank God, whatever the problem is, it immediately reduces in our mind that problem. Thank you, my dear Lord. Just saying that reduces the psychological effect on us, which is amazing. And of course, words, we sometimes we get carried away in the emotional situation. But we should try not to harm anybody with our words. Words should be pleasant. Even the truth, sometimes it says truth may hurt, but you can always say it in a pleasant way. And actions, of course, that's probably the most obvious one, that our actions should not cause harm to others. Is that okay, Shamali?
Yes, Prabhu, thank you. Yeah, that explains everything. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for asking. Anybody else? Otherwise, we can stop. Okay. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Ananda
Jai.
ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for such